So what's going to happen is for this show, there's going to be two versions, guys, because YouTube also hates both. Well, one of those words,
Yeah.
and we're going to have one for the people who want to join and be members. We'll have the unedited version of this. Everyone else, you're just going to hear a whole lot of.
That's okay. They'll get the gist. They'll see it. They'll see the passion. The way that they move the goalpost should absolutely be studied. Their arms must be so fucking tired from constantly pushing it forward. Like, they're always doing the heavy lifting of moving the goalpost when it comes to Donald Trump, and I fucking hate them. I fucking hate every single one of them.
Welcome, everybody, to the Closer to the Edge podcast, the anti-sleep aid for anyone sick of political self-censoring and hushed tones on the left-wing podcast at a time when we need to be loud.
So buckle the fuck up. Are you buckled up?
I'm buckled up, baby. What's up with you, man? How are you? Rook T. Winchester in the house over there. And I, of course, Drill Sergeant Doug. Good here. Good to see you.
Do I
I'm
sound...
buckled up. I'm strapped in. You sound good, brother. How about you?
Oh, fuck. I'm a little tired, but, that's nothing new. It's what happens when you burn like a Roman candle. But,
That's right.
but it's been a wild week, and we have a great guest for you tonight. She can tell you about some of what's making me tired, but
Chelsea Gods.
Chelsea Gods on the show tonight.
Oh, it's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah.
Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. That's her doing, isn't it?
Yeah, she did it. She recorded the song and it went viral, and I think when she was out at, well, she can tell you all about it, but when she was out at Whipple Federal Building with Robbie Roadsteamer, people were singing it, and she was just loving it to hear her own song just being sung. It was I don't think she knew that it was as viral as it is.
Absolutely beautiful, man. Well, look, you were in DC. You were in Whipple, at the Whipple Detention Center in Minneapolis. You've been to Alligator Alcatraz. You have been absolutely everywhere covering the news. We're going to talk about Closer to the Edge on Substack, right? We're going to make sure people go there to read all the reporting that you've been doing. And I just want to start with what's been going on in DC and go backwards, because I got something here. And I need to make sure that I'm not just making shit up. I need to make sure I'm not just seeing things. Is this your doing, sir?
That looks like the front page of the Washington Post style section. Am I seeing that correct so far?
The style section. Yep, that's the Washington Post style section.
Style section. And what's that headline there? Props to the resistance.
Oh. Now, I've been told that these green frogs, it says frogs together strong. I've been told that this is your doing. Maybe even the man of mystery himself is in one of these frog costumes. Where was this? Is that the case? Did you show up as a frog and disrupt the entire Washington, D.C. during the State of the Union address? Give us the whole news. What's going on here?
I was not dressed as a frog, although I was given I think everyone in attendance at the National Press Club for State of the Swamp was offered a frog costume. But I didn't step into one. I know plenty of people who did. I was taking care of a suitcase full of dildos that I had brought with me to DC to help distribute after the event. And I was hanging out in a bar just off the main ballroom, and I had taken one of these silicone purple rubber cocks out of the suitcase, and I suctioned it to the bar. And all of a sudden, someone tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Can I talk to you about the dildo?" And it was this reporter from the Washington Post. And apparently that's where she wanted to start with her article. So I don't know if you can zoom in on that at all and maybe read it to me in case I'm hallucinating. Because when I first read it,
I believe I can.
okay.
I believe I can. Let's take a look at this, guys. We have props to the resistance with frog costumes, adult novelties, and Robert De Niro. They partied. Where should we begin? The frogs or the dildos? People juggle them. And so I'm guessing, what is she talking to you? Is this you that she's speaking to here?
Yeah, those are my quotes. So I don't know. Yeah, you can keep reading, but yeah, those are my words.
People juggle them, and they attach them to their foreheads, end quote. Fine, we'll start with the dildos. It was State of the Union night at the National Press Club, where a who's who of anti-Trump luminaries had convened for an anti-SOTU State of the Union event called State of the Swamp. Robert De Niro was on the schedule, and many congressional Democrats were in attendance. So were an array of resistance types, including Rook T. Winchester. Including Rook T. Rook T. Winchester, it says here in the Washington Post, and who had suctioned his own 10 or so inch rebuttal to the bar outside the ballroom. It's violet silicone glistening under recessed lights.
It was beautiful.
He had several dozen more in a suitcase that he'd brought with him from Minneapolis. Quote, "I just hand them out and they bring people joy," he said. Also, some people throw them at ICE agents. Not him. He's quick to add. I'm purely a distribution. Winchester's plan was to hand them out on the streets of Washington after the event. Let's start with that. Our guy, one more time. For Rook T. Winchester in the building at the State of the Swamp event. Let's start with that event. What the heck was that? Tell me about it.
The State of the Swamp was an event put on by the Portland Frogs and Defiance.org, and they did a great job. And they invited Robbie Roadsteamer to liven up the crowd, and he certainly followed through. He did a fantastic job, triggered Fox News, triggered Greg Gutfeld, triggered Jesse Waters, triggered Sean Hannity, provided that necessary resistance spirit to the event. So Robbie brought Chance Meeting and myself along for the ride. So, I had extra dildos left over from Operation Dildo Blitz. So I brought those with to hand out after the event was over. But I wanted to take them out and take the temperature of the room. And so that's why I took my 10-inch rebuttal, as she put it, and stuck it to the bar.
Great reporting too. These are great words. They're worthy of a Rook T. Winchester interview. You use words that are close to the same, guys. So before we get to Robert De Niro, right? Let's just before we get to the big guy.
Yeah,
I need you guys to know that all of the reporting that's been going on, the things that are happening in DC, the things that are happening in Minneapolis are happening on the Closer to the Edge Substack, people. It's not just a podcast. Right here, you see the reporting, man. Like everything from the war to what's happening locally to what's happening, I should say nationally, right?
Yeah.
Opposition reporting, the woke farmer. You guys have to go subscribe, support, become a supporting member, subscribe. Also do the same here, Closer to the Edge podcast. This is what funds these types of travel. This is what funds this type of reporting, independent reporting. And especially now that we are at war, you can guarantee that the media, the national media, will even more become entrenched as the state propaganda arm. You need independent media. So join this channel. That's how you support the podcast. Join on Substack, Closer to the Edge. That's how you become a supporter and really help this whole movement out that he got going on over here.
Yep. And you don't even need Substack. You can just go to our website, closertotheedge.net. If you don't want to download another app, you can just open your browser and go to closertotheedge.net, and it'll get you to the same spot. So you don't have to be fearful of some new app if you're not used to Substack. But Substack is way better than Facebook. Lots less trolls and bots. So yeah.
And there you have it right up there. It's also a QR code to be there all night. Just click on that. Just do that QR code and all that good stuff. Okay. So tell me more about it, man. Did Robert De Niro showed up? What was this event? This is the press club that normally would be holding the regular press that's covering the State of the Union. You guys took it over. What happened? And then how did Robert De Niro get there?
Well, they invited all sorts of great guest speakers. There were senators in the room, reps in the room that had skipped out on the State of the Union. The point was to provide a real-time option so you didn't have to listen to the orange buffoon. And really just stack it with speaker upon speaker upon speaker, and have our own state of the swamp, as they called it. So it was a spectacular event. It was really well run. Miles and Tyler and everyone else did a fantastic job in the way they put it together. So and Robbie really provided that spirit. I think he was on stage several times, and Jolly Good Ginger was there, and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry was there. People were speaking sometimes from Zoom, but mostly in person. Robert De Niro was there in person.
What was that like? What did he say? Well, I mean, we just know that he's been a firebrand ever since the Orange Maniac. The Tangerine tornado has blown across this country and wrecked the social homes of everyone on the prairie land. What did he have to say? Anything different? What was it like? Did it inspire you?
Yeah, well, it's on YouTube if you want to pull it up, but we don't need to pull it up. What I took from his, I don't know if it was about a 5-minute speech, was the actions needed. That all this, the talk and the protesting in the parks. We need more. You can't just stand there with signs and expect this thing to get better. We need to throw some sand into the gears. That's me paraphrasing what he said, but
well, I think we can take a quick look at what it is you saw. I want to see it myself. Let's take a quick look at this, guys. I'm so proud to have this guy as my partner, man. You being here really just solidifies and further solidifies in my mind you as one of the best reporting people, outlets, reporters, writers out here, man. Your gonzo reporting, your style, but then your willingness to be everywhere, to be there in person on the ground. It's damn near I don't know what you call it. It's just inspiring, brother. Let's see what our guy De Niro had to say. Oh, I'm on super speed. Hold on, let's get off super speed.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Miles.
Can you guys hear that okay?
5 months ago. I'm going to fix this. 5 months ago, the ACLU asked me to sign a letter supporting Jimmy Kimmel when he was taken off the air by Trump administration censorship and ABC complicity. The letter began, "We, the people, must never accept government threats to our freedom of speech. Efforts by leaders to pressure artists, journalists, and companies with retaliation for their speech strike at the heart of what it means to live in a free country. 100%. I'm passionate about free speech and a huge supporter of the ACLU. So along with nearly 500 other actors, directors, musicians, and more than 50,000 ACLU supporters, of course I signed the letter. The letter also included a statement about how our First Amendment rights transcend politics, other beliefs. That part began, regardless of our political affiliation or whether we engage in politics or not, we all love our country. I choke on that phrase, we all love our country, because our country isn't so lovable right now. In the current climate, declaring love for our country is like an abused spouse professing love for their abuser. I've never thought of citizenship as being an act of love. I've tried to be a good citizen. I pay my taxes, vote, obey the law, recycle, stay within the speed limit. Most of the time, not always. In return, I'm grateful for the opportunities and freedoms my family, my fellow citizens, my immigrant ancestors have enjoyed. But my heart is broken as I see them being taken away, both the freedoms and increasingly my fellow citizens. I'm not going anywhere. This is my house, my home. But I have to tell you, I'm not too crazy about living in this dysfunctional relationship. Our country, as President Lincoln reminded us, is meant to be a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The people. Tragically, we're now in a country of, by, and for a handful of dishonest, greedy, and cruel authoritarians. So, love our country? Let me ask you, can you love a country where our neighbors are shot down in the streets by masked government thugs? No. Can you love a country that denies health care for tens of millions of our fellow citizens? No. Can you love a country that ends contributions to sick and starving people around the world, causing hundreds of thousands of preventable deaths, many of them innocent children? No. Can you love a country that trashes our economy to give tax breaks to its billionaire cronies? No. Can you love a country that denies science and sacrifices the climate, the very air our children breathe? No. Can you love a country that pardons violent criminals and protects pedophiles? No. I could go on and on and on and on. The bottom line is that I feel betrayed by my country. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does need to return to the values that gave us our strength and humanity. And turn its back on the daily atrocities of the Trump regime and their enablers. Despite the theme tonight, I didn't come here to talk about the State of the Union. That's too depressing. And right now, I'm more concerned about what the State of the Union will be in November. Because a failing, flailing, and desperate Donald Trump is even more dangerous than the tyrant we've already experienced. There is no doubt in my mind, and I'm sure in most of our minds, that he will use every resource and power in his command to stop from losing power in the midterm elections. I won't list the ways because we don't know all the ways he'll try to steal the election. Mm-hmm. Remember that this guy tried to overthrow the government by violently attacking the Capitol on January 6th. Who saw that coming?
Everybody.
And that was just a rehearsal for what's likely to come.
I did too.
Who's going to stop him? Yes. Who is going to stop him? We, the people. Because we are the only ones who can stop him. Like you, I'm filled with anger and outrage, but I'm saved from total despair by rays of hope. And I'm very careful these days about using the word hope because I've seen so many of our hopes for our country destroyed. But there's no reason to think we're not up to the challenge. We have a solid first line of defense with organizations like Defiance.org. We have judges whose courtrooms have been corrupted, haven't been corrupted. And then most importantly, there's us, the people. We saw what can be accomplished in the example of the courageous people of Minneapolis. In the face of deadly attacks by Trump's private army, they stood up to threats and violence and literally ran their asses out of town. Mayor Fry, congratulations to you and your people. Inspiring. And I'm also inspired by the No Kings demonstrations. Millions of people all over the country gathered together to non-violently demand democracy. The next rally is March 28th. If you've ever loved your country, this is a time to show it. This is our wake-up call. We don't know everything this authoritarian president and his stooges have in mind, but we know something is coming. And if you want our leaders to be accountable, if you're devoted to the Constitution and the rule of law, if you want the United States of America to be worthy of your love, be ready to take this to the streets together, and we will take our country back.
I'm hyped. I'm hyped now. I'm ready now.
But yeah, I would go through and watch the rest of it. I think it's 3.5 hours long on YouTube. It's still out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to transcribe all the speakers because every speaker really hit it out of the park. So,
absolutely amazing. How long were you there? I know you were there beyond just that day. You were there for almost like 2 weeks, was it? Or, I don't know. You tell me more about what went on there.
No, I got in Monday afternoon. Chance Meeting picked me up at the airport. We went back to the hotel. There was a blizzard happening. And so Robbie was trying to make it down from Boston, and the flights got canceled. Even the bus got canceled. So Robbie had to get in his car and drive all night. And then, he got there at like 3:30 in the morning, trying to find a place to park. But we finally got to the National Press Club around 4 o'clock before really anyone had arrived. So that's when I took one of the dildos out of my suitcase and just to take the temperature out of the room. So, and everyone seemed to enjoy it or seeing the sight of it because they knew exactly where it had come from. So
outstanding. So just this weekend, there was also, as usual, Flare.USA goes inside all these offices every Friday, but then there are some times where they're special, where they're a gathering of people from across the nation that join them in going into these offices. Did you go in there on Friday?
Was it Friday? Was that? Oh no, I wasn't there. I wasn't in DC for Friday. So okay. No, I flew out on Wednesday. Used my teleportation device that gets me everywhere in the country I need to be.
Gotcha.
At once, and came back to Minneapolis. So there's just a lot still happening here in Minneapolis. So as long as ICE is in Minneapolis, it's going to be Rook T. Winchester's home base.
Got you. It's, especially as long as Whipple is there, and as long as there are dildos to be passed out to ensure that that the dickheads feel more comfortable. As long as they're there, that's where we want you, Rook. That's where we want you. So, I do want to say we we need to introduce she needs no introduction, but what I will do, instead of just introducing her and being happy that she's here, I'll go ahead and play the song
Kristi Noem is a bird
that everyone needs to know.
It's like walking music.
Yes, it's perfect. Perfect protest move music.
Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. That hoe has got
This is
to
beautiful.
go.
And this is why. Now that beat is hard. Like rapping. I feel like rapping. I'm not gonna do it. But what you guys are hearing here is the music by Chelsea Dow.
Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. Come on. Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. That hoe got to go. Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. That hoe
has got to go.
Is a bird-legged hoe.
Hello, Chelsea. You look good. You sound good. So I hope you heard your song, walking you in.
All right, I did. I definitely heard Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. I said Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. Got to go.
Did you hear that Kristi Noem may have had a dildo in her purse?
Did I hear she had a dildo in her purse?
Yeah. It's if you Google Kristi Noem dildo purse, apparently a Coast Guard person was fired because I think Kristi Noem had a dildo in her purse, but you can be the judge.
Yeah. Well, I heard that she did her blankie.
Yeah.
And the Coast Guard
Yeah, they called it a blanket.
Yeah. They called it the blankie. So it was it did provide her comfort, but it didn't cover her whole body. It was internal comfort.
Yeah. Chelsea, do you know anything about Kristi Noem's dildo?
Are we talking about Kristi Noem's Corey Lewandowski dildo?
Yeah. And
I didn't know. I didn't know. No, I didn't know this. I didn't know that it was a dildo. I really thought it was a blankie. I thought it was a blankie. I didn't realize that.
But they're saying it was an embarrassing item. And how is a blanket embarrassing? Like, and why? It seems like there's more to the story.
And that's why we have the likes of Rook T. Winchester here, the man of mystery. You get to the bottom of these things that most of us didn't know.
I'm not saying it was or wasn't. I'm just saying that there's signs that point to it being that way. I mean, we can all guess what was in the purse, but to just call it a blanket and to say that a Coast Guard agent was fired, a Coast Guard officer was fired because a blanket was misplaced. Like, yeah, and nothing against transporting dildos. I do it all the time. Sometimes I have the wagon full. So it's not really about that. It's just I don't know why it's such a big deal for them.
You know what, Rook? Of every person I know, you've transported the most amount of dildos, more than anyone I've ever met in my life. So when it comes to dildo transportation, I do trust you when it comes to that. Apparently, Kristi Noem does not trust the Coast Guard when it comes to that.
Yeah. Well, this isn't the first time she lost her purse either. I mean, last time she lost her purse, there was like a bunch of money in it. And
I remember the purse stealing.
So
I remember the purse stealing, and was it Miami? And then she blamed, of course, an immigrant.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Homeland Security. Yeah, you cannot secure your purse, but the rest of us are doing just fine. Thanks, Kristi. Your sacrifices will not be forgotten. So, Chelsea, tell me what's going on. Did you go to D.C.? What was it like?
I did. I just got back from Washington, D.C. We got to go to the state of the swamp. I got a little froggy with all of the Portland frogs. I actually got to dress up as a Portland frog for a little bit, so that was pretty fun. I got a costume. And then I got to take the frogs around the halls of Congress. That was actually really fun. I went into this Indiana congressman's office. He had a picture of Charlie Kirk outside his door, so I'm sure you know how well received we were.
Oh.
I'm like handing them a copy of the Constitution. I was like, we swear fidelity to the Constitution and not to political leaders. And I can assure you, every time you worship political leaders, it ends badly. As I'm wearing a Kristi Noem as a bird-legged hoe shirt. I really was wearing my Kristi Noem as a bird-legged hoe shirt as I'm going around with the Portland Frogs. But I mean, I understood the assignment. I knew to like tone it down and be like respectful and not get kicked out of the Capitol, which we got kicked out anyway, so it was fine.
You did.
But it was a good time. It was a good time. Yeah, I mean, they just asked us to take the costumes off, but we were already done. Joke's on you, Capitol Police. You were too late. We'd already done what we were meant to do that day. And it was awesome. It was so cool. And then we did get to meet 3 congressional representatives who were bad as hell. And I got to meet Adelita Grijalva, who she's a progressive congresswoman from Arizona, who I have a podcast I do weekly on a public radio station that's based out of Portland. It's actually based out of the Bay Area and Portland. And I had been talking about what happened to Adelita Grijalva. She was not allowed to be sworn in by little Mikey Johnson in the longest in U.S. history. The longest in U.S. history. I think it was something like 41 days before he swore her into office, because he did not want her to vote yes on releasing the Epstein files, which, let's talk about how freaking gross that is. Really? Now that we've seen the files, now that we know what's in those files, which was kind of what we expected, right? But it's like, it's gross. Like, it's real gross. It's real awful. And he would not swear her in because she was going to release them, which, by the way, we should definitely have seen them. It's disgusting. People in the UK are being arrested. The artist formerly known as Prince Andrew was arrested. Like, people should be arrested, you know? And instead, our government was protecting them, and then they wouldn't swear in Adelita Grijalva. And then I met her, and she was so nice and so welcoming. I would like to point out that the only Congress people who were welcoming with the Portland Frogs and took photos with the Portland Frogs were all women. 3 women, which doesn't even surprise me. Doesn't that
surprise anybody, though?
No, no, of course not. Because women leaders lead with heart, empathy, and kindness, and they really showed that. And it was amazing meeting Adelita Grijalva, because here's this woman who I had talked about, who kind of became like a national, face of what the Republican Party is doing to Congress and the government in general. And I got to meet her in person wearing my Kristi Noem as a bird-legged hoe shirt. And then she's like, "Oh, hey, can I get a photo with you?" to me. And I'm like, "Me? You want a photo with me? What?" And then I was like, "Do you know who I am?" And she's like, "Yeah, of course I know who you are." And I'm like, "Oh my God, this woman knows who I am." Which, that's kind of been a weird experience for me. It's within the last like month and a half where people have really known who I am. And that's kind of like a crazy moment for me I'm like fangirling with Adelita Grijalva, because she's a progressive. She was Bernie Sanders backed, which is very important to me. I'm very progressive. I consider myself to be very progressive politically. And to have her know who I am and know my song, like, she definitely knew the song. She knew Kristi Noem, and that is so funny to me, and just kind of like the most amazing thing ever. Like, that's when I wrote home to my mom. My mom is always like questioning my life choices. And this time I was like, "Mom, but I met a congresswoman and she knew who I was." So,
and she wanted to take a picture with me, by the way.
Yes, and she did. Like, it was so weird to have a congresswoman be like, "Oh, hey, well, can I get a photo with you?" I'm like, "Me? So really? Me? You know who I am?"
This lets you know that you've made it. Like, now
it made me feel like that. Like, I mean, made it as far as like writing the hit songs of the revolution, right? Like, made it as far as like people know the jokes that I put out online, and that feels really good.
So wait a minute. This song, by the way, is produced really well. I'm in a studio. I produce music. I produce.
Oh, it's AI.
Oh, okay. All right.
I want to get to the point where I make songs with real people. In fact, Rook and I have talked about this. He's hooked me up with some musicians where I'm like going to hook up with real musicians. I come up with the lyrics and the rhythm of things. In fact, Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. How I came up with it is I started calling her a bird-legged hoe online because she is.
Right.
That's just factual.
Well, these are facts.
Yeah, these are facts. And I was inspired to call her a bird-legged hoe after she went to Chicago and remembered that they wouldn't let her in to the government building to go to the bathroom. And she's all walking back with her little bird freaking legs. And that's when I was like, "That bird-legged hoe." And then I went to the No Kings protest here in my hometown of San Diego. And I was there with my megaphone because now I've upgraded to a speaker. But at the time I had a megaphone. This is October 18th. And I was like, Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. That hoe has got to go. And then I just started singing, Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. I said, Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. Kristi Noem is a bird-legged hoe. That hoe has got to go. And I have to tell you, I'm pretty good at creating internet memes. In fact, the first way I ever became known online was I created an internet meme called Joe Rogan is 5'2", which got... That was my first internet meme I ever made. In fact, that was the first thing I ever did where I got more than 1 million views online.
Really?
Joe Rogan is 5'2", and it got so big that Newsweek reached out to me and did an article on it. And so I created an internet meme so big that even the boomers know about it.
Oh, this is genius. We need more like you. This stuff matters.
It does matter.
Rick and I were talking about the fact that beat and that song is actually perfect walking pace. It is for protesters.
That's exactly what I make is protest music. So that's why I don't consider myself a musician, right? I would never say that, especially because I'm using AI. I would never consider myself a musician. I do consider myself a songwriter, though, because I do write songs. But I do make songs that are easily repeatable for protests because it's hard to chant. You need things that are chantable. But when you go to a protest, you don't want to be chanting, hey, hey, ho, ho. Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Donald Trump has got to go. Yeah, it's not. It's boring. You get tired of it. It's like repetitive. And so the music and the uplifting beat matters. And then also making it easily repeatable matters. People are like, well, why didn't you add more verses to Kristi Noem? Here's why. Because I need thousands of people to be able to repeat the song en masse so that we can all be singing it at the same time. So that's the kind of music that I create, is things that are easily repeatable for being in a crowd. So it is like protest music for being in a crowd that makes it easy for the crowd to repeat it. And that is like obviously on purpose. That's by design. And it's also because I want to bring up the mood of protest. I have this whole vision of how we bring people into our movement, and we don't do it by being boring.
Facts. Big facts.
We don't do it by being boring. We do it by being engaging. We do it by being fun. We do it through music, art, culture. All of those things are the most important way of winning humanity in the long run. The thing that fascism does not do well against is culture. Yeah,
every time. Culture, absurdity, and art all the time. So this is what we're going to have to do.
Okay.
This is what we're going to have to do. I make beats and
I love
record and engineer. So that because when as soon as you say AI, there's going to be an influx of people who cannot discern whether or not, who's good or bad because of buzzwords. Mm-hmm. So that you can say you make your own from now on. I got beats I'm going to give to you. You can record your voice, send it back as many times as you want. I can make chants and put them together, stack them together.
Yeah.
And it is all you and all these originally made stuff.
Oh, well, I have a new one I'm working on. So I came up with this when I was hanging out with Robbie Roadsteamer in Washington, D.C. In fact, I was just kind of going through my videos and this reminded me of it. So the next one I'm going to work on is Donald Trump. He's in the files. Elon Musk. He's in the files. And then just kind of do it like that. It's like, they're all in the files. America is in denial. So I'm going to work on like that kind of beat. That's what I'm thinking of right now. And I'm going to start naming the names of the people in the files. Mark Zuckerberg, he's in the files. That's kind of the idea.
I love it.
Well, Doug has so many drum beats and just beats. You got a big library.
Right? You're going to start playing some of these like this. Right? He's in the files. Donald Trump. He's in the files. You know what I mean? Like
in the files.
That's it.
You're in denial. Yeah, see, that's like totally it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that works. That works. Let's make another meme.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the biggest meme I'm doing right now is Deport Melania, which I do have a song for. Deport Melania is my big meme right now. I am the founder of the International Deport Melania campaign. Get her out of here. Send Jeffrey Epstein's girl right back home. Put her back on the Lolita Express.
Yes. I was going to ask you about that shirt.
Yeah.
And
I am the founder of the International Deport Melania campaign. I do have matching hats because I am also starting a cult based around Deport Melania. And as you know, all the best cults in 2026 have matching hats.
Gotta be.
That's how you know you're in a cult.
I personally saw that on TikTok. I saw your coming out of that. I mean, there was like a few posts where you were talking about the cult. I was wondering if I should join. And I said, I'm already on so many lists that I think that it really may not even matter at this point. I've needed a cult for a long time, and I'm thanking you for providing that for me.
You're welcome. It's I, Chelsea Gods, your favorite cult leader, the Cult of Gods, founder of the International Deport Melania campaign. Everyone's got to have something that they really believe in. That's what we believe in my Cult of Gods. And what is the entry fee? Matching hats. In fact, after we're done with this, I'll get your address and I'll send you a matching hat, and you can join the cult. Rook's already got one.
Oh,
yeah. I'm already in the cult. It's a lot easier too, because once you're in a cult, just life gets a little easier because you got
people make decisions for you.
I'll make your decision. I'll make all your decisions for you. That's how it goes.
When it comes to deporting Melania, I'm going to let Chelsea make all those decisions, and that's the beauty of this cult.
You know what though?
I feel like a weight's off my shoulders already. Like it's just, I'm free.
Yeah, that's right. Pass all your burden on to me, your cult leader. You know what, though? Rook and I have talked about this because the hats are actually a great conversation starter. Everybody likes them. When you wear the hat in public, people want to talk to you about the hat. It doesn't matter what city in the country you're in. Everybody wants to talk about the hat. And I do not get very many negative comments at all. In fact, the only negative comment I've ever gotten about my hat happened in Minneapolis, getting on the plane to head back home to San Diego.
What?
Yeah, you know what? So I got on the plane. There's a lady right at the front of the plane, and she's like, this is right when the Melania movie had just come out. And she's like, the movie did $8 million this weekend. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, well, it cost $40, and it was directed by a pedophile.
It cost $70.
Oh, even worse.
Yeah.
Even worse.
Because they spent quite a bit on marketing, and they'd had to pay Melania. Now, what I'm doing is
$70 million does sound right to me now that you said that. So $40 million was the bribe from Jeff Bezos to Donald Trump for the movie, and then $30 million of failed marketing campaigns.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Actually.
So, I'm glad that person was leaving Minneapolis.
Well, you know what's so funny is like another person, I've never had this happen before. In fact, I thought it was so weird in Minneapolis because everybody hates Donald Trump in Minneapolis. After what's happened there, people who didn't even have a strong opinion before, everyone has a strong opinion now. That's the one thing that I noticed about going to Minneapolis and talking to everybody there is that everybody freaking hates Donald Trump and ICE and everything that they're doing. So these people must not have been from Minneapolis. And then another person piped up. Sorry, I got sick on the plane from Washington. Anyway, another person piped up after that woman. I couldn't even believe it. Another woman piped up and she said something. And I was just like, and she said, well, we've got to get the murderers out of here. And I said, excuse me? I said, excuse me? And she said something about illegals being murderers. And I went, oh, so you're just racist. And then you know what I did? There was a woman seated right behind her who had on hijab. And I was like, I like her. I hate you. I actually swore, but I don't know if your podcast allows swearing. So
fuck that.
Oh yeah, all the time.
All right, I've been like PGing it, but now I was like, her.
No.
I like her, but I fucking hate you. And then there was an Asian guy, and I was like, him? I like him, and I fucking hate you. And then you know what happened? People started high-fiving me. I'm not even joking.
No. The next time
I literally am telling them how much I fucking hate them, and people are like, yeah, let her know how much we hate them. I want these MAGAs to be silent. I want them to shut the fuck up. I want them to feel uncomfortable in their racism anymore. You know what's happened is that we've been so nice in society that we've let them get away with it. And so now I'm being like loudly defiant to their faces because I fucking hate them.
No, me personally, fuck you. I hate you. You're disgusting to me.
Yes.
There's not a safe space for chuds like you here. There's people out there who will accept you to broaden the umbrella, to biggen our tent. There are people out there who will accept you after you've turned your leaf and you found out that you too can be sent to concentration camps, and you too can be, you too can not be comfortable under authoritarian rule, and so you realize now that it affects you. You have more empathy somehow, and when you do that, I still say, shut the fuck up and don't come here with it. There's other people out there that are better trained to speak to you and let you in. Rook T. Winchester may be one of those people who's more decent than I am. I personally...
But really, I love that. But yeah, really the only time in my cult that I've ever had anybody say anything negative about the hat was in leaving on the plane from Minneapolis, which I just thought was completely tone deaf. But other than that, every person in Minneapolis, when I was wearing that hat, was like, hell yeah! Everyone who worked at the airport was cheering me on. And then even in Washington, D.C., people just kept coming up and be like, where do I get that hat? How do I get that hat? Where is that hat from? I know that the hat and the cult are going to be the next hottest thing for every single liberal person in the United States of America, because I've seen the reaction to it. I will say that this is the thing that I do. This is what I do for the left. You're welcome, America. You're welcome, America. This is what I gift to you, is that I bring humor through memes on the left.
How can our viewers join the cult?
Right. If you would like to join the Cult of Gods, you can head on over to chelseagods.com, where you can get your very own official Deport Melania hat. Also offer Deport Melania shirts. They're unisex, so watch out. That means it doesn't have a gender.
Hey, now... I need you to know that in the chat here, I gave my address. I'm looking.
I saw that. I copied and pasted it. I'm saving it already because I saw that you sent that. I know. Like, how could you not want to join the hottest growing cult in America?
So I want to find out this then. Since we're talking about how we onboard leaving Trump members, and you seem right up the alley of the type of person that I am. And the type of people that when we start this podcast, it always says we come in here. We started this podcast to be extremely loud in the spaces where left leaning podcasts seem like everything is hushed tones and NPR. No. And
that's not us.
We need to be loud now because we're literally looking at Nazis. Yes. So I want to show you a couple videos, and I just want to get your reaction to them. And see if maybe we're on the right path here. Hold on, let me just go ahead and make sure I got the correct. Okay, yeah, okay, this will do it. Watch this, and just tell me what you think.
Another video talking about the debacle of these white supremacist pedophile protectors, the main one being Pam Bondi today. And what she went on with today was ridiculous, but there is a saving grace. It's called a black woman, queen named Jasmine Crockett. Go ahead, Queen.
Mr. Chairman, and to be clear, I'm not going to ask any questions of this witness because this witness has revealed that she has no intentions of answering questions. This particular witness, she stated that when she took office, she had two main goals. The first was to end the weaponization of justice, and second, to return the department to its core mission. Not only have you lied about both, you've intentionally done the exact opposite. You're spending more taxpayer resources arresting journalists than you are prosecuting pedophiles and creeps.
Damn.
And I might add that y'all actually had a judge that rejected y'all for trying to arrest Don Lemon before, just like the grand jury rejected y'all as it relates to Senator Kelly, just like a grand jury rejected y'all as it relates to Senator Slotkin, just like the case against Tish James was dismissed and the case against Mr. Comey was dismissed. I completely don't get how it is that you're sitting at the top of DOJ because you don't seem to be good at your job.
That's how you talk to them. Stop asking about your colleague across the aisle, or if they know that the tariffs are this or that. Stop asking them, what do you think about the person who shot the person 10 times in the back? They don't care. Treat them like I do the same chumps in my comment section. I laugh at them. I talk about their mothers. I talk about their little teeny weeny peewees. And if they have any questions, I'll just ask them, go get your wife and tell her whose dick she thinks is bigger when she watches me. Shut the fuck up. That's how you speak to them. We're not about any more decorum.
But let's circle back to you protecting my pedophiles and creeps.
Let's do that.
Because I want to talk about the president and his possible involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Fact number one, Donald Trump is one of the most named people in the Epstein files. At least 5,000 files contained more than 38,000 references to Trump, his wife, or Mar-a-Lago. According to this file, Ghislaine Maxwell presented a young girl to President Trump who spent more than 20 minutes apparently flirting with her. This shows notes from FBI investigators that describe Jeffrey Epstein transporting a victim to Mar-a-Lago to meet with President Trump, where he bragged to Trump that, quote, "This is a good one."
Stop arguing with these people. Call them what they are. Knuckle dragging, stupid, racist, and get the fuck out of there. I don't need an explanation, and I'm not trying to prove anything to you. Go ask your wife. She still smells like me. Fuck you. That's the answer. Give a damn dissertation for. Show the history of the Constitution for you. A fucking crocodile. Go fix yourself.
There's a lot in there, but the overall message is still the same. I'd like to hear your response on that as the queen of all memes and happy things.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I want the MAGA to shut the fuck up. I want them to feel afraid to speak in public again. I want them, when they open their racist, stupid fucking faces, to know that I'm going to shut them right the fuck up, and I'm going to make them feel bad about themselves. I want them to know how much I fucking hate them. I've stood in front of the MAGA and made fun of their micro penises to their face, and I don't feel bad doing it, because all these people are a complete stain on humanity, and they have not only destroyed the country, they've destroyed the entire world. We have let them talk for way too fucking long. We have taken them seriously for way too fucking long. I don't care what the MAGA have to say to me. In fact, one of the things that I have a huge problem with people on the left is that they want to sit there and have a debate with these people. What are you going to debate? The fact that they support a... Shut the fuck up. We're not debating them anymore. There's nothing to debate. In fact, on the occasions where I've had the unfortunate circumstance of talking to people on the right, what I intend to do to them is I don't let them get an inch in the conversation. I completely dominate the conversation, and when they try and say something fucking stupid, I talk right the fuck over them and bring it right back to me. I had a conversation back in December outside of Turning Point USA's AmFest with Nick Shirley and Caitlin Bennett. That's right. Chelsea Godds got double teamed by Nick Shirley and Caitlin Bennett, and she tried to, and she tried to move the conversation. And I went, "I'm sorry. Why do you think you get to dominate the conversation? You came over to talk to me, not the other way around."
Right. Thank you.
Like, excuse me, no, we will not be doing that. Like, I will be owning you in this conversation. I don't care what the MAGA have to say to me. And the only reason why I let those two fools double team me with protection.
Oh, okay.
The only reason why I let those two fools. Yeah, I did. The only reason why I let those two fools talk to me in the first place is because I feel like my message is important to get out there, and I knew that they were going to amplify my voice as opposed to me doing the opposite, because I knew that I was going to dominate them in that conversation. I think that the way that we got to where we are now is that we sat in quiet complacency with these people who should never have had a voice in the first place, and now the only way of getting out of it is through loud defiance. And I do believe that the things that I do show that loud defiance works, that it's very effective, that if we're loud and we're like shutting them down, that they do shut the fuck up, and that it actually is. It does work. So I like Jasmine Crockett a lot. I want to say that. I'm really sad about her getting gerrymandered, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I like the way she shuts them right the fuck up. I don't want people to try and find decorum anymore. I don't think that we're at a place where we have decorum. We're up against literal fucking Nazis who hid the fact that they were all fucking kids.
I don't understand why anybody wouldn't understand that. It seems to me that you're doing the Lord's work. It seems to me.
Yeah, I'm doing Chelsea God's work.
Yeah, doing Chelsea God's work. It seems to me that the country should be happy to have you. Rook T. Winchester, we haven't let you get a word in edgewise, because when two people like us get on the mic, it's all over with. Go ahead, sir. How art thou?
It's fascinating. First off, Chelsea mentioned protection, and I hope, if that's what you're out there doing, Doug, and you're having sex with a lot of MAGA wives, I think that protection should be something that you really need to consider, just because that's I don't know, but that was my little bit of feedback there. But I know we've learned a lot about what Chelsea does and why she does it well. But why do you do it, Chelsea? If someone asked you that question in an elevator and said, "Why do you do what you do?" What's your
Yeah, that's a really great question. So honestly, the answer to that is that I felt like I was a very unique person with a very unique skill set and very unique talents that happened to be perfectly attuned to this moment in history. And I felt like if I did not do something to try and stop this encroaching fascism, which, I mean, fascism is here, right? It's here. It's existing. I felt like if I didn't use my talents and my abilities to try and save the country, that I would be remiss to not do that. I do believe that me and then thousands of other people who are just like me are very, very, very important in saving not only the country, but the world. So that's why I do what I do, because I knew that I was up for the challenge of it. I knew that I was made for this kind of nonsense and that I could, meet the moment.
Yeah. And can you talk a little bit about your restraining order that you received?
Yeah, I can. I actually have court tomorrow morning. I have court tomorrow morning against One America News Network, who, if you're not aware who One America News Network is, they are a conservative right-wing news network who happens to be the employer of Matt Gaetz.
Facts.
They also are located here in San Diego, California. And I went to One America News Network. This is actually the second time I went to One America News Network. I went to One America News Network about a month ago, just on my way home, because I thought I should pay them a visit. I should go see them again. And I went up to the door of One America News Network. The security guard quickly came out because there's a gate, but you can go through the gate. Like, there's always people going in and out of the gate. It's not really that secure. I go up to the door. This guy comes out, and he has the thickest Spanish accent ever. And I said something just tongue in cheek. I was like, "You don't even speak English? Are they going to call ICE on you?" Which you have to remember, we're at a news network. We're at a news network that is supporting ICE. We're at a news network that is anti-immigrant. And here they are sending an immigrant out to meet me.
It's so fucking gross to watch them defile themselves. The fact that I won't say majority, but the sheer number of black and brown people working for ICE that would be otherwise sent away if they weren't.
Right.
To go send their own people away is so disgusting. It's hard to believe.
Well, I think that it's like House Veils kind of mentality.
Yeah,
right?
Very much so.
It's weird to see it happening in real time. Obviously, it's something that we've read about in history books, but to see people who are upholding oppressive white supremacy systems that affect their family members and will affect themselves is absolutely crazy. So I said this to this guy, which obviously I'm a satirist. That's what I do. I use satire as a way of holding up a mirror to the truth of the situation. And here is this man with a very heavy Spanish accent working for an organization that would literally throw him into a concentration camp, throw away the key, and never care about him ever again. But he immediately turned around, and then another man came down. And I thought this man was just a security guard. And he's like, "You're going to need to leave the property." I did not put up a fight with leaving the property. But as I'm leaving the property, I'm kind of like being funny about it. And I was like, "Oh, if only you guys cared about children as much as you care about protecting Matt Gaetz. If only." And the guy's like, "We're going to call the police." I was like, "Good, you better call the police. Matt Gaetz kids. You better call the police. Matt Gaetz is kids." And then I go outside and I kind of do like a little thing about it. If you're not aware, for those of your listeners who are not aware, Matt Gaetz is a former Congress representative from the state of Florida. He had to resign after a bipartisan congressional report showed that he was not only paying for sex, but he also paid for sex for it with a 17-year-old girl. And he trafficked across state lines, provided illicit substances to her, and he kids. And that's all. And he was almost 40 years old. P.S. I'm 40 years old. Ask me if I would hang out with a 17-year-old child. No, I fucking wouldn't. And this is not questionable. I am not worried about slander or libel lawsuits when I talk about Matt Gaetz' child, because it is well known that Matt Gaetz did exactly this.
And I also like to add that Matt Gaetz was Donald Trump's first pick to be Attorney General
of the United States.
So Pam Bondi was, I guess, a runner-up choice.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine how much of us? This is it. Pick-me's get exactly what they deserve. You're the second choice to a. You're the second choice to a. That's what pick-me bitches get. But I have a long history of hating Matt Gaetz that goes back to him children. But in addition to almost being Attorney General of the United States, and he really was almost Attorney General of the United States. Mind blown.
That's why he had to leave.
Matt Gaetz' best friend.
He gave up his seat to be Attorney General, and then everybody else said, "Bro, we've been protecting you long enough. We can't give you this."
Yeah. Matt Gaetz' best friend is in prison. He's in prison in Georgia, and he's there for 10 years. For the same thing. for the same thing. The only reason why Matt Gaetz is not in prison is because of his powerful connections to Ron DeSantis and, of course, Donald Trump. Last year, on January 20th, 2025, Donald Trump invited Matt Gaetz and Conor McGregor to his inauguration. Both of those people are You know who else is Donald Trump?
Oh, yeah.
Is I actually make sure to use the word children. And you know why I don't use the word? Because I found out that people on the right hate the fuck word. They hate the F word. The word fuck really bothers them. But you know what doesn't bother them?
Never.
So I always say Matt Gaetz kid. That's okay. They'll get the gist. They'll see it. They'll see the passion in my face as I talk about the fact that Matt Gaetz, a homeless 17-year-old child. And then I went to one America. And by the way, right now, Matt Gaetz holds a Pentagon press pass.
Yeah. My God.
Matt Gaetz was given a Pentagon press pass maybe a month ago.
Well, and isn't One American News, aren't they one of the only news organizations to still be reporting at the Pentagon?
Exactly. And I have to tell you, this is the thing about my restraining order that is the most important and is the most scary, is that I received supplemental papers, I think on Thursday or Friday of last week, where they are now asking the judge to make me remove all of my social media posts about it, to not talk about it publicly. They want me to have to redact everything that I said. And by the way, when I got those papers, they quoted me talking about Matt Gaetz fucking kids, and they redacted his name.
I have I don't know if it's possible, but in the efforts to drag this thing out with One American News, if you want, if they just dump this on you, you have every right to go in tomorrow and request a continuance.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm doing.
We need some time here based on what you've said, and just because you do, for one, but also it's an important story, and you've earned the restraining order, and
I'm pretty proud of that restraining order. I am proud of that restraining order because it means that I got under their skin, right? It means that they do not want the attention for the fact that they are the employer of an actual pedophile. And I swear to God, if I ever run into Matt Gaetz in the wild here in San Diego, and I will, because my followers are looking for him for me. They message me and are like, hey, Matt Gaetz was at this mall. In fact, I've gone looking for him before, but when I find him in person, I will make fun of him so loudly in public. I want these people to be afraid of us in public. No more quiet complacency, nothing but loud defiance. They need to be publicly shamed. If someone's at a restaurant with Kristi Noem and she's allowed to eat her bowl of soup without anybody making it so that she can't choke it down, then that's a huge mistake. All of these people need to feel so shamed that they never come out of their fucking house. Like, that's my goal in life. And you kid Matt Gaetz and you have a Pentagon press pass, well, I'm going to make sure that your life is a living hell when I see you, and I'm going to make fun of you, and I'm going to make your wife feel bad to her face.
So here's the deal. The time is getting lost. And I have two things that are very necessary. We got to talk about a war response because it's very necessary. And there's something that came up when you said the guy who had a heavy Latino or accent, right?
Yes.
Spanish accent. I got to bring up that first, but I also want to say, in response to what Rook just said, what we need to do to get ahead of, in case you have to redact or take down stuff, because for whatever reason, you need to get on Political Drain show so you can say it again, and then the Sons of Liberty live stream so you can say it again. So they can't make all the rest of the people take that down. So we can make sure that all of the things that story has said, if you do have to take it down, will be on at least 3, 4 to 5 really big or almost big, according to mine, platforms where the story will be there and can be shared widely amongst everybody if they can't find it where you are.
Right. So this is actually my plan in the first place. So one thing about me is that I am heavily censored and I do get my accounts taken down. I actually happen to be a very favorite target of the MAGA. I'm everything that every MAGA man hates. I'm a loud, liberal woman who they happen to be attracted to. And they hate that so freaking much that they always try and get my accounts taken down. And so my solution to getting my accounts taken down is doing exactly what you said, which is spreading my message as far and wide as possible on multiple channels as much as possible. I have been invited to the Sons of Liberty podcast. In fact, I saw the invite come through yesterday. I just haven't responded to it yet because I've been busy with other things. But that is exactly the solution. And I know that's the solution for everybody on the left as they continue to try and silence our voices. And they are going to continue to try and silence our voices.
Perfect. So here we go.
I'm fucking dying.
I'll speed it up too.
I'm fucking. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. They did it in a Spanish accent. They did it in a fucking Spanish accent. I'm dying. I can't believe this is real.
I just called the DOL, and they're like, press 1 for English, press 2 for Spanish. Standard, right? I press 2 for Spanish. I would like to speak to them in Spanish. Tell me why it stays in English but switches to a Hispanic accent. Except for numbers. The numbers are in Spanish. So when you request Spanish on the DOL website, when you request Spanish, it stays in English but just put the Hispanic accent on.
You have reached the driver licensing service line. If you are calling about a vehicle or boat, please press 1. Please press 1 for English. 2 para español. Tripla búsqueda. Sobo. Thank you for calling the Department of Licensing Customer Support Center. For assistance with scheduling a driver licensing office appointment, canceling an existing appointment, or questions about an upcoming appointment, please press 1. All other callers, please stay on the line. Thank you.
What the fuck was that, man?
To better serve you, will need the last 4 digits of your social security number and your copy of yours. If you have a valid Washington driver license or illegal and a social security number, press 1. If you do not have both of these, press the pound key.
Come on. Come on.
Is that real?
No, it's very real, man. This is
Did you try the number? I need to call it.
This is very real.
You do the work, Rook. Put the groundwork in. Find out for us.
Yeah, well, I'm cynical because I have to be.
I like that.
This is important. We need to know what's going on here. And I guess where was it? Did they say Washington? Is this? I mean, if it's Washington, you know.
They could have fixed it by now. They probably have if it went to YouTube.
That's true. You're too late. They don't get the benefit of the doubt, though. When you've done as many stupid things as they do all the time.
Oh, I wouldn't put it past them.
There is no way that I believe that it didn't happen over them. Absolutely not. They don't get the benefit of the doubt anymore. And then I'm going to say the last part here is this is where we talk about the war response. We're going to have this. And then I want you to respond and let us know what just your feelings on all of this, Mrs. Gods.
Yes. Look, I came here to talk to MAGA.
I like his words, and I like he did everything he said he was going to do. He did. So what are some of those things that he said and then he did? He just one thing he said and then he did. He caught me off guard there.
Now, MAGA, we have dear leader's previous posts on Iran.
A president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future.
That sounded familiar. Didn't that sound familiar to y'all, that speech?
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
That's it.
People will be coming home. Americans will be coming home in boxes wrapped in American flags. And the people wearing the red hats will be the loudest at the gates to talk about their patriotism. And also find a way to say that everything's all right. The guy who said no more new wars should have started this one.
The way that they move the goalpost should absolutely be studied. Their arms must be so fucking tired from constantly pushing it forward. Like, they're always doing the heavy lifting of moving the goalpost when it comes to Donald Trump. And I fucking hate them. I fucking hate every single one of them. All these people who are complaining about us being in Afghanistan and how if Kamala Harris became president that she was going to be the person to start World War III. Well, guess who really started World War III? Donald motherfucking Trump, which nobody finds surprising at all because he's trying to wag the dog over the fact that he a bunch of kids on Epstein Island.
Mm-hmm. Period.
Like, and not only that, but we're in this war because we're there because of the Blue and White Fire Nation. I have to watch what I say because if we mention the Blue and White Fire Nation by name, well, that's how I lost my Instagram account with 120,000 followers. In fact, I took a risk. I rolled the dice this afternoon and I made a video talking about the Blue and White Fire Nation. If I still have an Instagram account by the time this interview is done, I will be surprised because you can't talk about them because as soon as you talk about the reality that the Blue and White Fire Nation has now brought the United States into yet another war. This is crazy. How has any war gone since World War II for America? badly. Korea, bad. Vietnam, bad. First Gulf War, also bad. Iraq, terrible. Afghanistan, absolutely terrible. Vietnam, terrible. Everything terrible. And now here we are again doing the bidding of oligarchs, also that a bunch of people at Lockheed Martin can make a little bit more money this year. We're doing the bidding of the shareholders at Raytheon with the bodies of American soldiers. And I'm so fucking sick and tired of this nonsense. 100 million Americans have medical debt. 67% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Nobody can afford fucking shit. Nobody has health care. Everybody's dying. Everybody's sick all the time. Everybody's poor all the time. But we always have enough money to bomb brown children in the Middle East. And we're literally bombing brown children as we kill children at a school, as if that does anything good for anyone. Take note, America and the rest of the world. This is what happens when you allow evil men to continue doing evil things. Benjamin Netanyahu, Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin. These people are responsible for the deaths of millions of people. And this is so fucking awful. I'm so tired of living in a shithole country where we can't even afford to have fucking healthcare, but we can definitely afford to blow up a bunch of school kids.
The other part of that is, I mean, it goes very much deeper than we probably have time for, but the idea that they want to build these hotels on the bones of dead Palestinians with great waterfront property, all of the kings and all of the people in the UAE and Bahrain and Qatar who signed on the last regime Trump regime with Jared Kushner and the ex-finance minister of Israel who came together to create Exigent, which is a real estate hedge fund that got all of these Muslim countries who never saw Israel as a country and couldn't trade with them to sign a deal saying, yeah, we can all build together on Palestine once they're dead. And then 3 months later was October 7th. How about that? And then, when that happens, immediately we realize that, well, if all of these kings and queens of all these people who are also in the Epstein files, let's not forget, need a place to go build hotels where they won't have any accountability, which is why they like that place there. The only time they can be there in peace and not have to look over their shoulders is if Iran has a different regime.
Yes.
Because that's the only place that didn't sign on with the filth. Now, they're bad over there. I'm not saying they're good, but they also are not going to be peaceful when you're building hotels on the backs of dead Palestinians. So all of them have a vested interest in changing the regime in Iran so that they can further build statues to themselves on Palestinian land. Lastly, to the people who voted third party and stood on soapboxes because they said that the genocide and genocide Joe and had no smoke. They found themselves in Chicago marching against the DNC, but never in Mar-a-Lago. Those same people who were not at the RNC while they were crashing Grindr, none of them were there. I hope that they also build golden statues to you on the bones of those same dead Palestinians, because that's exactly what your vote got. More of it, not less of it, because of your hubris and your denial of reality. And instead of making adult decisions, you decided to stand on a soapbox and show how good you were. And now it only has done the exact opposite, like everybody told you it would. Go fuck yourself. And don't ask me for any favors when we need to vote again.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Where are all those fuckers in Dearborn, Michigan, who are sitting there saying you should vote for Trump if you want Gaza to not be under siege anymore?
I
Where
ain't heard from Jill Stein in 4 years.
Yeah, she hanging out in Moscow is what she's doing, because you know what that was? That was always an opposition. That was always an opposition operation. That was always them trying to undermine those of us on the left. And I agree with you. If you didn't vote, or if you said you were going to vote for third party, go fuck yourself. Fuck you. And electing a president is not like taking a fucking Uber or a Lyft. It's like taking public transportation, and you just get on the fucking bus that is going to take you to the closest stop that is closest to what you want. And absolutely voting for Kamala Harris would have been a harm reduction decision And instead, now here we are bombing fucking Iran and attacking the streets of our own cities, building concentration camps all over the United States of America while they talk about Mara Gaza on the bones of children in Gaza. And all of those people, they are absolutely responsible for this. This is the exact same thing that happened in 2016 when people are like, I'm not going to vote for Hillary. And then we got fucking Donald Trump. And now we have Donald Trump again because of those same exact fuckers. And I hate them. I hate them a lot.
I think we've covered just about everything until our next meeting. What do you say, Rook?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, Chelsea can probably talk for hours and I can listen for hours. So there's so much more. I just hope everyone joins Chelsea's cult. And because we need a good cult and keep it in their face. Keep it in their face at all times.
I really do believe that we will win through memes. I really do believe that the memes are super important. And people on the left, any of you rich donors on the left, I know you're not listening to this because you guys suck balls, but any of the rich donors on the left need to get on fucking board with understanding that the way that we win the culture war is by having funny memes, by winning social media. And me and people like Robbie Roadsteamer and a bunch of others who we're all doing this. We're all fighting the social media battle because how we win America is through culture, humanities, and that's how we win the world. Because we are up against people who don't value human beings. We're up against people who do not value life. And on our side, we do value life. We value existence. And how do we win existence? By being funny, by being in their face about being funny, and by being loud about our defiance.
Outstanding.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, and I hope we can do a part 2 at some point. I have so many more questions to ask.
And don't forget to join my cult over at chelseagods.com, where you can get your very own Deport Melania hat, get her out of here, send Jeffrey Epstein's girl right back home, and get your own hat over on chelseagods.com.
Doing God's work, Chelsea Gods. I thank you for being here, dear cult leader. And I look forward.
Yeah, I'm gonna indoctrinate you into my cult shortly. You're gonna be getting a package in about a week, and you're gonna think to yourself, "This is the greatest cult I've ever joined."
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait for your next dictation, and for your next thing to.
And good luck with court tomorrow. Yes. Keep us posted on what happens.
I'm gonna do a continuance. Yeah. I'm sure that the judge will issue it. Judges always give a continuance, so I'm going to do it, and I'm going to waste the time of their very high-paid lawyers, which makes me feel very warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, and then ask for a second continuance, just because then the judge he'll still grant it, but he'll just get a little ornery about it. But that's okay, because then you can go to trial after that, and that's when the fun starts, when you get to start putting witnesses on the stand. And I
call Matt Gates.
Right?
Exposition.
Yeah. So, all right. You be safe and be you. And thank you for being a part of our podcast tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I had a great time.
Thanks.
We'll do it again soon.